Yeah, so record keeping is like just keeping the receipts and the invoices and the ephemera and all the paperwork in a way that like makes sense for you and is doable for you. It's a habit. And the organization part of that is figuring out what to do with it, how to classify things, and that comes down to looking at what happens with our taxes every year.
Are you keeping your financial records organized? Today's guest, Regan Bashara, calls herself a numbers witch. She is the founder of All Ease Accounting LLC and an expert on small business finances. Today, you'll learn more about financial record keeping, organization, and end of month reconciliation. Welcome to the 15-ish minute coffee chat live stream and podcast with Anna and Selena. That's 11 seasons of helping entrepreneurs and small business owners just like you build a more profitable business.
Hey, Anna, do you think people are listening? Yeah, why wouldn't they be? We make business so fun. Don't we? In that case, let's introduce ourselves. Hey, it's Anna and Selena and the 15-ish minute coffee chat podcast. Talking business doesn't have to be boring, so dive into our coffee chat conversation and learn something new for your small business.
All right,
Or whatever. This is what we do. This is what we do.
welcome. Like, I feel like we need some like cheering music, like a crowd cheering, right?
Wait, hold on. I have something. I think I do. Here, hold on. Like,
there we go. Yay! 11 seasons.
yeah. You guys, Anna and I were just saying before we started hitting record, we're like, today has been like 2 days in one, and it's only barely hitting 4 p.m.
Yes. It has been it's been a big day today. But you know what? We're so excited to have Regan on the show.
We are.
Three tips on 3 things that I know cause me to go into cold sweats personally.
Yes.
Like when we were reading Regan's intake form, I was like, sometimes we really got to jive with somebody that does finances really well, because finances are sometimes scary and hard to understand. And then when Regan came on and was like, I'm a numbers witch, I was like, I like her. It's time.
These are people.
Yeah.
It's going to be a great conversation, guys. What was that movie? Like was it The Office? Like where the guy with the stapler and nobody wants to talk to him? Like,
oh no, I think it was,
we'll have to ask her.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
I do. I know. It's a streamlined stapler. Yes, I do.
Sometimes you feel like the bookkeeper or people that do the finances get that unfortunate stigma, and then you're like, no, she's not. That is what we're saying. Regan is so opposite of that character. So anyway,
yes.
Okay, let me bring up
Office Space. Look, she's private chatting us. She knows the name of the show. It's Office Space.
Like, let me tell you how this works. Okay, so here, let's just read her bio. So Regan Bashara, numbers witch, Anna mentioned that, numbers witch and bookkeeper, is conjuring empowerment for passionate, open-hearted entrepreneurs in the United States. Regan helps you track and organize your numbers to quickly build wealth while aligning with your principles and ethics. Wealth allows you to take back your financial agency and start living out your big dreams.
Oh my gosh, this is going to be such a good conversation. Okay, so before we bring Regan up, I want to drop our call to action.
Yes.
All right, I want you to drop in the comments right now. Are you keeping your financial records organized? Okay, that's all I'm asking. Are they organized? Do you know where they're at? Are they in a shoebox? Are they in an envelope? Are you scanning them? Are they organized? Drop your answer in our chat. And with that, I'm going to bring up Regan and we're going to just get started.
Ta-da!
I feel like
we need the explosion again.
We're going to do fireworks this time. So if you're listening to the podcast and you can't see the screen, look,
boom.
Just know there's fireworks happening
Fireworks
right
happening
now.
on our
It's like
screen.
the 4th of July here.
Yeah. Reagan, you know what's funny? We have not done this with any of our other guests so far. They're going to be a little jealous that we didn't do this.
I got fireworks and
Yeah.
yes.
Welcome to the show. Anna and I are so excited to have you here.
Yeah.
Per usual, what we like to do is start our episodes with a coffee cup selfie.
Yes,
We're
I'm ready.
different today, but everybody's got something.
Yes.
Water, whatever, or whatever's in here.
Water, and water, I think.
I have a spreadsheet shortcut mug with all
Of
the
course
shortcuts
you
for
do.
spreadsheets on here. I thought that was very appropriate.
Absolutely. Reagan's ready for this show. There's no witches in this play. Okay, on 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay.
Perfect.
All right, Anna, let me move people in position. Let's just, let's do this.
So if you're just now tuning in, we're super excited to have Regan here with us. Regan's going to be talking about staying financially organized as a small business or an entrepreneur. You can be a solopreneur, whatever size business. Actually, it's really important you're financially organized. So if you're tuning in, it's likely you might struggle with that just a tiny little bit and be looking for some good support. And that's what Regan is going to offer us today.
Yeah.
All right. Let's start with the first thing.
Yeah. So our very first question for Regan is, what is your top tip for financial record keeping?
Yes. So my top tip, and you mentioned the shoebox, and I'm so glad that you brought that up.
I have a feeling it's something to do, don't use it, right?
Yeah. You do you. As long as I don't have to touch any shoe boxes, I'm fine. You do what you got to do. But for financial record keeping, my tip is to think of it like a funnel. When paperwork, when records, financial records, whether that's receipts, bank statements, invoices, whatever, come into your business, they need one place to go. Think of it like I've got email invoices coming in. I go to the store and someone hands me a 15-mile long CVS paper receipt and you get bills in the mail. You need to have one place where they all filter into in order to deal with it. It's either a bill that needs to be paid, it's a bank statement that needs reconciling, it's a piece of receipt or ephemera that needs organizing somewhere. Financial record keeping is all about having a system to put your records. And so if it's a shoebox, I mean, at least it's in one place, right? At least it's not on the floor of your car, the bottom of your purse, whatever.
Yeah. Okay. So Regan, of course I have a question because I am the worst at this, right? I am the worst. And the reason why I'd say I'm the worst is because if a virtual invoice comes in, then it goes into my one little email inbox that I keep for invoices. But then if it's like a receipt, now I'm like, I've got this pile that grows on my desk over the month, right? That sits over here. That's my receipt. And then if I were to get something in the mail, first of all, I rarely get anything in the mail, but I don't even know where I would put that one. Probably with my receipts on the corner of my desk.
Yeah.
And then with that idea of, oh, at some point I'll input this all into my online thing. So what you're saying though is I need to consolidate and decide on one way to manage those records.
Yeah, I love that you brought up the email inbox like folder. I actually recommend that in my Chaos to Calm guide, which your users will get the link to, or your listeners and viewers will get the link to that. I recommend having a filter set up in your email inbox. If it says invoice, if it says receipt, if it says bill, it goes to one folder. So that's what I mean by that filter. It goes to one place. If it's a paper receipt, like an envelope in your purse or in your car, if you're doing a lot of running around, where you get a receipt and it goes in that envelope. And then for filtering all of that through, I usually recommend once a week, or you could do it once a month, but probably once a week is better for everybody to develop a habit of sitting down and going through that inbox. Whether the inbox is the envelope of receipts or it's actual envelopes that came in the mail that went onto this corner of the desk, or it's an email inbox folder, have a time to sit down and sort through them.
That's really good advice.
I have to say, you're so right about the once a month thing, because I think it gets overwhelming and then it gets easier to say, I don't want to do this. And then you don't do it at the once a month. And then all of a sudden it's tax season and 12 months of like, I'm just saying for a friend, not you, Anna, myself. I totally cried every April trying to reconcile because now I'm forced to, I have a deadline now. And I keep saying to myself, but you're right, the 1 week. I will say somebody did suggest to me, they're like, look, if you want to do digital, take a picture and make it, if you have an iPhone, you can create a folder. And then that's just where all your receipts, save it to that. So then you can just upload that later. Because if you're like me, I lose paper stuff all the time.
And it's harder if you skip a month to catch up than if you skip a week. If you skip a week, it's just a week. There's maybe 5 receipts or 2 email invoices. If you skip a month, that's an entire statement's worth of expenses that you've skipped dealing with. And so if you develop the habit of doing this every week and you skip a week, you're sick, you're out of town, whatever, it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
That's very true. I want to know, I want everybody who's listening currently right now, drop in the chat right now. Do you do it once a week or is it longer? Because I know I'm a monthly, if that. Selena's throw me under the bus. I take full responsibility for my very poor financial record keeping. I'm terrible at it, but I think because anyway.
I mean, it's okay to do it monthly. I know myself and I'm like, if I skip a week, it's not a big deal. But if I end up skipping a month of something, like there's a hard chance I will not get back into it.
But if you translate that to my world, then it's, if I skip a month, it's probably a big deal. And now I'm 3 months behind and now it's a really big deal. So I love the weekly advice because you're right. Once a week, how many items truly come in once a week? Maybe 2 or 3 or 4, depending on how big your business is and the type of business you have.
That's manageable for sure.
Exactly.
For pretty much every business owner, 15 minutes a week is doable.
Okay, so that was a fantastic first tip. I'm already feeling better about my finances. Okay, so now one of the second things, the next question has to do with financial organization. Can you really quickly just touch on what's the difference between record keeping and financial organization?
So record keeping is like just keeping the receipts and the invoices and the ephemera and all the paperwork in a way that like makes sense for you and is doable for you. It's a habit. And the organization part of that is figuring out what to do with it, how to classify things. And that comes down to looking at what happens with our taxes every year, which is the word that nobody wants to utter. It's like Voldemort. Like, we don't want to talk taxes that must not be named. And having things sorted by year is how I do it for my clients. And then by year, by month after that, because our bank statements come out every month. So when it comes down to organization, I think for every business, it makes sense to do it by year and then have it subdivided by month. And I mean, that's just how I learned to do bookkeeping and accounting. And that is how taxes are done. Organizing it, especially like if you have an accounts payable or an accounts receivable, which is where like you have like a bill that you pay, like a statement for a vendor, or you have payments that you're waiting on to come in from clients. If you keep an accounts receivable, that kind of financial organization to me makes sense in like the month by month period. First by year, then by month, and then we can talk about what kind of deductions would you get to claim for this expense and how to classify those.
Okay, so I'm really sorry. Does that mean that you just basically gave your top tip for financial organization as we were talking? Or is this still to come?
What do you mean? Sorry.
So this was question number 2, and I asked you about the difference, and then you jumped into the keeping it by year, and I'm like, oh, that's super smart. And then year, and then by month, and going that way because it ties to our taxes. And I'm like, oh, shoot. I wonder if she's already answering our question, but I want to make sure we identify that as like your top tip for financial organization would then be looking at things by year, month. The sorting process, right?
Yeah, I may have jumped the gun on that. My apologies.
No, it's not your fault.
I guess like the difference is like the record keeping is the top of the funnel where we're like filtering it through, and then the organization part of it is like what happens after the funnel part. Like
that
it
makes
out
sense.
and is sorted. So I guess that would be like if I were gonna do a visual, it's like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
I will be honest, guys, like the second you said taxes, like as you started this, my like initial mental state went like blank, and I went to like a happy place that did not have to do with the numbers. And then I came back and I was
completely blacked out on that one. And it's like you didn't really answer the question, and Selena's like, I don't know what the question
I
was.
I don't know. I was here, but I wasn't here. You know what I mean? And but this is how it is for a lot of business owners when we talk about finances. It's so scary. I'm like, I wonder how many clients you've had to deal with that are just so, I don't know, Regan. I don't know.
You just tell me what to do. I think that's what a lot of people feel, right? Is you tell me what to do so I don't have to think about this.
Yeah.
But I like the simplicity of what you're saying though, right? Like tip number 1 for the records, just keep it in one place. And be consistent in how you're keeping it, because the minute you start to change that up, you're going to lose your receipts. How do we know? We all know that. I don't even want to hear people in the audience going, I never lose my receipts. But we all know that's total BS. Right? And then this second one, when you're talking about financial organization, I love that you just say it's by year and then by month. It's that simple, right? And then again, you can have 12 envelopes, one for each month, and there's all your records. They're labeled January, February, March, all the different months. And in my head, I'm like, gosh, she makes it sound so easy. Like, why am I not already doing this?
It is truly as simple as it can be. And what you said, January through December, like having a different envelope. I keep digital receipts for all of my clients. They can keep their paper receipts if they want, but the IRS does allow us to keep digital financial records. So you can scan in a receipt and then toss it, shred it. As long as there's a digital record, make sure that it's like redundantly backed up. It's on some sort of cloud drive that like for sure it's not going to disappear. But I do that. I put each folder by year, and then inside the years, I have each folder for each month, January through December. So I'm glad you pointed that out, because that is exactly how I do it. I just don't do paper. I just do it on digital storage that is encrypted and all that for my people's information.
I'm just going to throw this out there for us creative types. If you keep your paper copies, this is a great opportunity for you to totally scrapbook out your envelope.
I am obsessed with scrapbooking. That has been my hyperfixation recently. Thank you. Because yes.
Okay.
Once you've scanned in your receipts, then you can just go do scrapbooking.
You just brought me back in, Regan, now, and Anna. I'm like, I stopped skipping through an open field, and I don't know.
That was the magic word.
I was like, what are we creatively doing with our
I'm like imagining January's, and it's got like snowflakes on it, and it's a penguin on an igloo, and
I love that.
How many stickers do I need to buy so it can look pretty? What is my?
I need a whole book of. I need to go out and buy more scrapbooking supplies. Is really what I'm hearing.
Change the title of this to "Making Record Keeping Fun," and it would have been all about like just scrapbooking your receipts.
Oh my God, Regan, your next like workshop needs to be like, let's and bookkeep for you this week. Do you know what I mean?
Oh my God.
And I think like mentally that could really be helpful for people like myself.
Tap into your inner child, reparent yourself. Let's scrapbook some receipts.
Well, adulting.
Well, in my head, like I was like, that's something I would do that week right before January is get my 12 envelopes and scrapbook them. Like that's relaxing. It's fun. It still feels like vacation, but I'm actually now being productive for my business.
I love that idea. I will give you credit for that, but I actually am gonna go share that now and be like, hey guys, I found a way to make receipts even more fun.
Yes. Invite us to the first party because me and
scrapbooking on Zoom.
I would laugh if somebody just joins our live right now and they're like, wait, is this about bookkeeping or about
what are we talking about?
It's both, listener. It's both. Okay. All right.
That's amazing.
What's our third question?
Okay, Regan, our third question for you. comes to that end of the month reconciliation, a
Mhm.
big scary word that people are like, I know what I'm supposed to be doing, but really, am I getting it done the way it needs to be done? Especially for the DIYer, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
And so many small business owners and entrepreneurs are DIYers. So, can you
Mhm.
tell us what is your top tip for end of the month reconciliation? And if it's scrapbooking your end of the month information, I'm just kidding.
You
Okay,
got me.
back on
No.
track.
My top tip is to pay for an accounting software that will do it for you, that will import your transactions from your bank. It makes it so much easier and smoother, especially if you're DIYing, if you're not an accountant, if you don't want to create an Excel spreadsheet, auto sum your columns, do it on the hand on a calculator by hand or on your computer calculator or your phone calculator. I pay for QuickBooks Online, my clients pay for QuickBooks Online, but I'm not paid by them to promote their products, but you can use any accounting software as long as it has the ability to reconcile your checking and credit cards, at least. And
I,
reconciliation is the way that we check for accuracy with our numbers. We want to make sure that our balance and our numbers are correct before we make sure that our categories are correct.
I was just going to ask you, so what do you love? What would you use? You know what I mean? And I like that you just said that because with my digital bank that I use, me and my
Yeah.
CPA found like, I didn't know. She was like, "Oh, your numbers are not matching." I'm like, "What does that
Mhm.
mean? What do you mean it's not matching? What's not
Mhm.
matching?" And your bank needs to reconcile something. So we're sending
Mhm.
notes, and I sat here going, "I wouldn't even know what she means." And
Yeah.
I'm in there. We're looking at all the things, but
Mhm.
I truly. So I love that you said matching, but because whatever she was using, I think we use QuickBooks.
Mhm.
It's not jiving, and it's not.
Yeah.
So QuickBooks, okay, if you can do QuickBooks, what's a second alternative that somebody could look at that you've used and find user friendly?
I know that Xero, which is Xero, Xero accounting software is pretty popular in the United Kingdom as well as the United States. So I think they're like the front runner, like right after QuickBooks. But Intuit has really added a lot of features and accessibility in QuickBooks Online. And I think their prices are pretty reasonable when it comes to just having software subscriptions, which every business now has something that they have a software that they have to subscribe to. If you have a website, you pay for a domain. Paying for QuickBooks Online monthly is a good way to automate a lot of these processes. If you want to keep paper envelopes and make them beautiful in Scrapbook, that's amazing. I love for everything to be click, click, automatic while I'm sleeping or doing something else. It is in there, and I feel that I can trust that like my data's in there, it's secure and it's correct. So, yeah, I would say make that part of your business budget, having some sort of software that like your accountant can access, but that you also know how to use.
That's super smart. What about like some of the ones that come with like your client relationship management, like Dubsado and that kind of stuff? Is that enough for like a small business or a solopreneur, or is something like QuickBooks really, because of what it's capable of doing, it just ensures you're not missing anything?
Mhm. I haven't heard of the one that you referenced, but the bare minimum that I recommend that you have when you purchase accounting software is the ability to reconcile, and it's also the ability to pull reports, at least a profit and loss statement and your balance sheet. Those are the reports that your accountant asks for when they do your taxes each year. So it needs to be able to pull those reports. I would hope that you'd be able to customize them and play around with them to look at different figures and data, but your accounting software needs to reconcile your account and pull your reports for you, and that is just really the bare minimum. So if it does that, then it gets a check mark from me.
Got it. That okay, so that's great. That's great
Yeah.
advice, right? That
Mhm.
gives a bare minimum for a small business owner to
Yeah.
really look at if they're unsure or
Yeah.
aren't super familiar with it, or know that they're going to have to learn a new system, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Because so
That can be
many of us are
daunting.
DIYers. Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Anna, I think you just saying just made me, I just wanted to jump in here real fast is just remember when you are starting out, this is super important. It's so important to know this has to have a place of
Mhm.
your attention, right? because missing things can result in tax problems later, or nobody wants the IRS to send a big fat check that says, I don't know how they were finding out how much I make, but they did, and they said I didn't do this, and this is what's happening.
Yeah.
I don't know how they found out how much I make. I don't know. I got peepers in your windows.
I'm telling you, I feel like they do. You always get a little nervous. I'm not doing shady things. Sorry, we're putting that out in the universe.
Yeah.
I'm paying my estimated quarterly taxes. I got my CPA, make sure I'm on it.
Yeah, those were due last week.
She hollers at me when I don't do them on time, or I don't know. Okay. Yeah, just right. It's important, right, Regan? Give yourself 15 minutes a month at least.
Yeah. And I love that. Start from the very beginning. I had somebody comment on TikTok. They were like, I haven't had any sales yet, but I've bought all this stuff for my business. And I'm like, okay, but all of that is going to have to be deducted at some point. So please have a system to at least keep records of it and know what you spent money on, like what was the expense. And getting into that habit early, getting that system and accounting software set up from the beginning, it's going to take you so much further when you do start making money. We're all in business to make money. So if that's the goal, we should have a way to track it.
Yes. See, guys, come back. Don't run with me through the fields. Don't do that. Just
slowly pull them back.
Bring yourself back. Go scrapbook with Anna and Regan.
And look at you. If you know you're like, sometimes we have to recognize our strengths, right? And
absolutely.
Our weaknesses.
Yes.
And so I know for me that I struggle with this timeliness of my financial organization and record keeping. I know I struggle with that. So in my head, I think if I just make it a tiny bit easier or a tiny bit more fun, will it be what takes me to that? Okay, now I can be more regular and consistent. A lot of it really is just self-determination and self-will, which clearly I'm lacking in this area, but that will be a New Year's resolution for 2024.
I love making it fun. I have recently got into making handmade paper, like not just scrapbooking. I've gone beyond to like making paper. And so like when I was sorting through bills and receipts and mail on Monday morning, I was like, I'm going to sort my junk mail into colors so that I can make paper in different colors. So that is the fun element of it. Like you have to find a way to incentivize yourself to like have the system and to keep doing the system. If our brain is not, if we're not getting the dopamine hit, it is worthless.
Regan, when you open the very first art studio scrapbook location, Anna and I want to come to the grand opening.
We do.
I think there's something for it.
Guys,
like,
right? Velvet line.
Yes, Anna's going to be like, girls' night. Let's go reconcile our expenses, and
it's gonna be bring your bills, bring all of your junk mail. We're gonna have fun with it, and people will be all over that.
Yeah, you got some doctor bills you don't want to pay? Bring them. We're gonna shred them and make them into paper.
Yes.
We're going to cut them in where it's going to look like a bra. And then we're going to we could, Regan, there are so
origami
many ways to do this. I'm like, Anna, how does your bra silhouette look? You're like, ready? Let's burn it in this little hot fondue pot that Regan's got going on for us. And we're going to snack too.
And we're going to snack.
Yeah, there will be a cheese board for sure.
You always need a cheese board.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And you could even call your new business end of the month reconciliation, and it would like that would be it. We're brainstorming this new business idea.
Guys, we should go into business together.
Yes, we're doing it.
So I'll handle the books.
Don't steal our idea out there. Don't steal it.
I'll give you a cut.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love to see you guys.
Amazing.
We knew it was gonna be fun having Regan on and having that kind of conversation. And look, here's what I think, which I find funny, is that we've now said scrapbooking, and now you're gonna think of Regan and bookkeeping.
I love it.
That's what happened, right? We did a cross promotion association word thing, right? So
We totally did.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh. Okay. Anna, I guess we're wrapping up the questions and
We
it's time
are.
to talk about our toolkit.
Yeah, that was our last question that we had for Regan. I think the 3 tips you gave were fantastic. And for anyone that's struggling with their finances, with their small business, or as an entrepreneur, I think that the information you gave is such a great starting point.
Yeah.
Even if you're doing it, it's still a good reminder. Like,
Mhm.
this is important. So, Regan,
Yeah.
thank you so much.
Thank you
Yeah.
for having me on.
Yeah.
I think
This
we're
was
ready
awesome.
to share our toolkit, which is
Yeah.
coming up next. Regan, can you tell us a little bit about your toolkit that you recommended to us, what it is, and why our listening audience is going to want this from you?
Yeah, so no scrapbooking here, but this is pretty much a deep dive into the system that I've been talking about. Keeping your records, having them organized, reconciling your bank statements. Chaos to Calm really walks you through setting up a system that works for you, your brain, your life, your business. Like, if you have any sort of like neurodivergent inclination, I really tried to write this guide to help folks set up a system that they can manage and develop a good habit with. So this walks you through setting up those folders like we talked about. It covers whether or not you want to keep paper receipts, you want to do all digital, or if you want to do a combination of both. But this is really the basis of financial record keeping and bookkeeping. So we start here, keeping your receipts. So that's why I wrote this guide, and it is free to everybody who wants to just sign up for my email list, and you'll get it.
I love that so much. And I love that you thought about like just the neurodivergent brain and how it also needs that you've written it for all the different types of needs, right?
Yeah.
Like all the different types of ways of thinking and processing.
Mhm.
Because that really is, I think, where big blocks happen, where I don't think the way Selena does.
Yeah.
She and I cannot do the same things when it comes to our finances.
Yeah. And get creative with it. If you have some other kind of homologous like system in your home for doing the dishes or whatever, like copy paste that system and manage your receipts the same way. If you already know of like ways that you manage other things in your life, do the same thing here. It is just paper. We're just keeping paper in some place, but it needs to be in a place that we can reference. Like when you go to the library and we know the Dewey Decimal System if we're old enough. And like having a referenceable system for your records is so important to keeping your data.
I'm
Is
going
it bad?
to.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
No, Anna, I think Anna is, this is where Anna is not me, but I know why I have a problem with finances, because anytime we had a test on the Dewey Decimal System and how you're supposed to go to the library, and no, is that it? See, look, I don't know anything with numbers was not my thing.
Yeah.
I did not pass. I did not.
I was moving back to where you said if you have a system with the dishes, and I'm like, oh, so I just have to yell at my husband and then my finances will get done.
Works, it works, okay?
Anna,
For my kids.
Anna, make a video of you yelling at yourself that automatically plays like a certain time. It just comes on. You come on your Alexa and it starts yelling. You yelling at you.
Not the Alexa yelling at you to do the dishes.
No.
It's actually a great idea to set up an Alexa reminder that yells, oh, I said her name too loud.
Oh,
Sorry.
no.
Yes.
Just kidding.
Exactly.
Well, Reagan's gonna have to do the next iteration of her Chaos to Calm and include these like new things now, like having the wildest conversation with Anna and Selena resulted in these new ways that you might find comforting to your mental soul.
I do want to revisit it because like I tried to make it as baseline as possible, but since I've come into contact with so many people who have done it and they've given me feedback, I'm like, okay, I need to revisit it and rewrite this section and include that because it's such a great idea.
Yes.
So yeah.
I love that.
I want to see you scrapbooking now while we talk about tips on your TikTok. That's what I want. Like, I'm gonna send you our TikTok handle so you can be like, Selena and Anna, let's see yours, you know.
I'll tag y'all in.
All right. So if you want to pick up Chaos to Calm, you're going to go to the link that is scrolling across the screen right now, AnnaandSelena.com/blog. And that is going to take you to where our very specific Regan Bashara video is going to be hosted. It's going to have links to her Chaos to Calm. It's going to have a replay video, and it is going to have all of this contact information that's on there. Regan, can you tell everyone how to best find you? Like, where are you really hanging out if they want to reach you?
Excuse me. I am on TikTok all the time, unfortunately. But I love being on there and like answering folks' questions. And I think the community on TikTok, like once you find your niche in the algorithm, it is so cool to connect with other people. So I'd love if you like scrolling, come follow me and let's have a conversation about books, bookkeeping, scrapbooking, food, like whatever you want to talk about.
Wait a minute. Wait, we're going to do food? I'm so there now for sure.
I played Disney Dreamlight Valley, which is a video game, and you have to make a bunch of different recipes in the game. And I'm like, I think I'm gonna try to make some of these recipes in real life and post videos and be like, I made the Dreamlight Valley pumpkin soup. I don't know. So that's my next thing that I'm gonna do.
I love that. So
I love this whole dang conversation. Like,
Yeah, this is awesome.
seriously. Anna, again, we've said we've been really so lucky. All the guests that have said, I want to be on your show, and we're like, yeah, and then they come on and they're like, amazing.
yes.
So
That's
thank
awesome.
you,
Yeah.
Thank you so
Regan,
much.
yeah, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and your expertise with our listening audience. We are so
Yeah.
grateful that you came on today. We are going to have to wrap it up because we've already hit 35 minutes. And
It was 15
I mean,
minutes.
that's right. Ish. There's an ish for a reason.
Yeah.
We set a goal saying, Kate, we do not go over 30. This is me and Anna. We don't go over 30.
Oops. My bad. Y'all can blame it on me this time. I'll totally take the blame.
Yeah,
Totally.
it's your problem for being such a great guest.
Yeah, stop it, Regan. Well, like Anna said, Regan, me and Anna are so grateful that you came and that you were part of this conversation. And thank you for being just fun to hang out with at our little water cooler here on the internet.
Yeah.
Yes. And
Awesome.
to everyone else, we will see you on the next 15-ish minute coffee chat.
Yeah, toodles.
Oh my gosh. Did they actually make it to the outro music?
I told you this would work, Selena.
Okay. Thanks for tuning in to today's show. Now head on over to annaandselena.com to listen to more of the 15-ish minute coffee chat. We've got over 100 episodes, all geared to making your businesses more fun and profitable.